Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Good evening. Welcome back to A-List After Dark. I am your girl, Angie, and I'm here today with my boy, Kev Pryor, and a special guest today, Shante, a.k.a. Pink Sapphire. How are y'all doing?
I'm
Ladies
doing
first,
good.
Shante.
I'm doing good. Thank you, Kevin. I'm doing good. I can't complain. It's beautiful outside. The weather's nice. I took a stroll in the park today. Um, Work day flowed pretty easy, so I can't complain. I'm doing well.
That's
Shantae is
what's
taking
up.
full advantage of that work from home lifestyle. Walk in the park, have a nice lunch, But yeah, I'm doing good too. Any day above dirt's a good day. My prayers and thoughts are with the people in this city that were on that train this morning. Again, crazy time. So again, like I always say, take every day and enjoy every day. And just never take anything for granted because you just never know.
Absolutely, guys. We're going to get to talking about that today. I just want to say, Kev, thank you so much for coming back. Kev is like kind of like my, indefinite co-host here.
I guess I'm
He's
doing
like the
something right.
right, exactly. So thank you so much for coming back and joining me, Kev. And today is Shantae's first time joining me and Kev for the A-List After Dark. Thank you so much for coming to join us today, Shantae. If you guys reckon Absolutely. If you recognize Shantae, I had dropped a Ladies VIP podcast episode on Sunday, and Shantae was my guest for that. We talked about is ghosting ever okay? And we also talked about what was the other topic? Temporary relationships, every man's dream.
Yes,
So if
yes.
y'all, yeah, so if y'all didn't catch that episode, look at Kev's face. Temporary relationships, every man's dream. Yes, Kev. Temporary relationships, every man's dream. Real quick, before we get into the topic, say what you think about that.
No, I disagree with that. I don't think it's every man's dream because in that situation, well, here's me. I'll give you the 30-second because I know we got a lot of things to talk about. From a standpoint of that mentality, having multiple relationships is multiple work. Now, if you're talking about having just physical interaction, that's different. But having multiple relationships, that's a lot of work. So I don't know if that's every man's dream. No, it's not my dream because that's a lot of headache.
That's why they like temporary relationships because there's no commitment for long term.
That's different because people they have short-term relationships, but they're very engaged in those short-term relationships. Now, but it's just I'm bumping bellies, hitting and quit it. That's something different, and that's not even always productive too as you get older. But I'm not in for the multiple relationships. When I was younger, I maybe when get your car's tires slashed and women start calling your phone. No, that no. I'm a grown man now. I'm in my zen. So no, I don't agree
Kev
with that.
said he here for a long time, not a good time. He said he here for the serious relationships. He don't want no temporary relationships.
I'm
He's
Mr.
done with
Right
that.
now, Mr. Right now.
Oh, okay, okay.
We
Go
were
ahead, Shante.
basically saying that we don't know that every guy, wants temporary relationship, but we was saying in the dating realm that, consistency and what was the other one? Commitment. Commitment. The
Mhm.
two C's was a big issue that was lacking in today's dating world. So,
I think
Absolutely.
women are dealing with that more than men these days. Because I think
mm,
women, when you think about it from a corporate perspective, women are going to college. Women are becoming more professionals, especially within the black and brown communities. I think it's women now, a lot of women who are taking that mantle and saying, you know what, I'm not necessarily keen on with this guy if he doesn't bring XYZ to the table. So I think women are now starting, in certain cases, are starting to pinpoint and kind of control and liberate themselves on what they want to do. And that's why I think, again, in my opinion, I know it's not tonight's topic, but a lot of men are not being alphas anymore because women are they're letting women drive the narrative. Not that that's anything wrong with a woman having a positive mindset, but when it comes to a man and woman together, it needs to be a situation where that dynamic makes sense, and it doesn't always make sense when that man is submissive to that woman.
That's a good point.
Could have had
Maybe
me on that one. See, there
I
you
was
go.
about to say maybe we'll do a part 2, y'all. Definitely, check for that. Cause I do like the points that you bringing up, Kev, and we could elaborate on that more. You know what I'm saying? I think that needs a whole episode in itself. So
I'm surgical with this, so just
I got y'all. We're gonna do a part 2. But if y'all didn't check out the ladies VIP featuring Shante, go back. I uploaded the video on Sunday. Go check it out and tell me what y'all think. So we here in the A-List After Dark. I hope everybody had a great day today, despite the circumstances that happened, which we're gonna get into later on in the show. But let's just start off a little bit light and relaxed before we get into that situation, right? So what we're gonna start out with today. No, guys, it's not Will Smith and Chris Rock, okay? Because I know everybody is like so done. I'm trying to. All right, give me 1 second, y'all. My computer. Here we go. All right, y'all. So Benzino, for whatever reason, cannot keep himself out of the headlines. I don't know if he's competing with his daughter, Coi Leray, and she's got all the limelight right now. But Benzino, as y'all know, he has been in the limelight since last week. Yesterday, Kev sent me a story, which I'm going to introduce, and Kev's going to elaborate on it and tell Shante a little bit more about it because we don't know too much. And then we're going to go into what happened last night between Ion, once again, Benzino, and Wack. But before we get into that topic, Benzino was arrested allegedly for something domestic. Kev, tell us a little bit about what happened.
Sure. Well, big shout to Star from the Star Report for dropping this information and having me go a little deeper. It seems that I believe it might have been on Sunday. Benzino was in Atlanta where he lives, and his I guess ex-girlfriend Althea from the Love and Hip Hop stuff lives, and they have a child. It seems that Althea was walking around where they live, where she lives at in their neighborhood with another gentleman. Benzino came to the house, saw her with the other gentleman. There was words exchanged, some gun violence words exchanged.
Are they together, Althea and Benzino?
It doesn't seem that way. No, it seems from what, again, it was on police body footage too. So what it seems that is Benzino's having a hard time letting this woman go. He was very emotional, shed some tears. The police, by the way, were very helpful. I mean, you want to talk about a police video that knows how to work with a domestic situation. This was it. Cops were very nice. He was out. We had no shirt. They put his shirt on. They gave him water. Very warm day in the Georgia, Atlanta area. And it just, when I'm looking at this, I know people find entertainment, and obviously we're going to get into what he's done in the clubhouse world, but it's a spiral. And I'm starting to really feel for Benzino because I don't know where it's going. I was reading a report I believe it's the same woman a couple years ago where she was living in California and he had no money and he had to go back and revert back to his old lifestyle before the music and the fame. It's just a spiral. And it's I think, again, it's a lesson for anybody, male or female, that when it's over, it's over. You just got to find a way out because sometimes it's hard to let it go. Egos get involved, especially in a person in his position where he probably feels that he's put this woman on. So, again, like I said, it's a tough situation. But yeah, he was arrested, probably just had a death ticket. It wasn't anything physical. Thank goodness it didn't take to that level. But I'm sure they have a child together, so I'm sure interaction is going to continue to happen. And just hopefully the next time it's nothing too serious.
I'm a little confused.
Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna let Shante go. Of course, you're a guest here, Shante. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have Shante tell her opinion, and then I'm gonna say mine. But before she asks her question, the video was over an hour. So does it start from when? Because Kev sent me a video. It was a whole hour. I didn't watch the whole thing. Does it start from the drive to the thing and the whole scenario, or?
Well, it's police body cam footage, so it's obviously somebody called the cops.
Okay, I see.
And they're just driving up. They added some theme music, whoever got the camera footage, but it was police body footage. So it went from getting the call from the police. I'm getting out. They didn't know who he was. And addressing the situation, him going in, getting cuffed and being taken to prison.
Okay, go ahead, Shante.
So I'm a little lost in the story.
Mm-hmm.
Was he was arrested, but she was walking the baby and he was coming over to visit? I'm a little.
No, she was walking with a gentleman. I don't know if that was a new boyfriend or somebody. He got into an interaction with the boyfriend, and the reason he got arrested, not because of the argument or just the words going back and forth, he kicked the man's car and left a major dent in the car. So he's arrested for that. And the boyfriend wanted to make charges. And it's funny, the cop was even like, yo, I agree with you. Because again, Benzino was very in the conversation with the police. After he calmed down, he was very remorseful about it. Like, really, they're gonna press charges. But again, it's a situation where if you're looking at it, it looks upon that he's having a hard time letting this woman go. And people allegedly, is it about the kids because the son was playing tennis? Maybe he wanted to come see his kid, or is it about the woman? Obviously, I heard on Star's report. Star says the coochie. Star's gonna make fun of it. But on a serious level, it's just like a lot of people have to realize that when these relationships come to an end, and not all relationships end positively or end amicably, that when it's over like this, you gotta let it go, because it's a lot of people sitting in state penitentiary because they just couldn't say no to a woman.
Shante, are you aware of what's been going on with Benzino the last week or two? Oh, she froze. You there, Shante?
Yeah, I think she'll come back.
She'll come.
No.
You there, Shante?
I'm here.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you froze for a second.
Oh, I saw y'all just the whole screen went kind of blank or whatever.
That's okay, no worries. I was asking you if you're aware of what's been going on with Benzino for the last week or two, besides him being arrested. Did you hear about what happened last week?
No, I didn't hear about anything the last 2 weeks of Benzino's world. But what I wanted to know is, why was he there? Why was he there in the first? He was just rolling up on her.
Probably was rolling up on her, again, how
probably
things
playing
are.
that I'm trying to visit the baby, because they do have a child together.
Right.
I know about that.
Right.
I'll say my opinion, and then we'll go into what happened on Clubhouse, and then we'll get Shantae's opinion. This way she could get a full recap of what's been going on with Benzino, and you're able to give a little bit more of your take on it.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is not the first. He's got a lot going on. So, with the Benzino thing, this resurfacing, was it old footage or was this fairly new, Kev? If you know, did this just happen,
No,
or
this was fairly new?
Okay,
because again, it was reported on Star's Monday show, so
okay,
I'm sure he just got it, so it was fairly new.
Yeah. So it happened yesterday, and then Benzino was on Clubhouse once again last night. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking. My opinion, right? It's and I'm assessing his behavior from the whole Cavario thing, which Shante will get you abreast on what happened with that, between his behavior with the Cavario situation, between the arrest, what we saw on the police cam when he was kicked out of the Red Roof Inn, and we saw the belligerence and we saw the anger. And then last week, him on Clubhouse, I witnessed the belligerence, the anger. And then hearing from Kev what happened with this arrest, the anger, the kicking of the car, and then the remorse. And then last night, being once again a moderator in the room and a witness to the belligerence, the anger. I feel like there's a certain anger management issue that he's going through, and upon deeper and I don't even want to say investigation. This is just me checking out different YouTube channels and hearing certain things. I was watching a YouTube channel that suggested that they've been following Benzino for a while, and they're seeing him on his fitness journey. And they threw out there that it seems to them, and I'm not saying this is true or not, but because of his physique and the zero body fat that he has, that there could be some steroidal use involved in what's going on between his manic outbursts and anger outbursts and his physique and the way that he's been acting. They suggest that he could be having, again, we don't know that. This is just a suggestion, what I'm seeing on YouTube, because I'm going through, like, just seeing what people think about the situation. They're like, he could be messing with the roids, but they don't know. And so I didn't watch what Kev put out, when he sent me the video, but just him kicking the car, yelling, and then becoming remorseful. And then, Shante, I know you don't know what happened, but last week, all right, so a couple months ago, I'll just give you guys a recap. I'll give Shante a recap, and maybe whoever's like checking in, the show. So a couple months ago, something resurfaced, right? So, Benzino used to be the owner of The Source. And then there was a guy named Cavario that used to be with Don Diva magazine. Those were like the two big hip hop magazines. Long story short, there was police cam that was called to the Red Roof Inn, which is like a 1-star, 2-star motel in Atlanta. They were called to the Red Roof Inn. Every time I tell this story, Kev be making me laugh.
The snooty fox.
The police were called to the Red Roof Inn, which is like a 1-star hotel, 2-star hotel, motel, not even a hotel, to remove 2 people out of a room. The police went there, and inside the room was Cavario and Benzino, which, okay, kind of strange that they were in there with luggage in a 1-star motel together we don't know if it was a 1-bed or a 2-bed, but a lot of people are saying it's a 1-bed. Someone was in the shower, whatever the case was. They got kicked out because the owners of the hotel called and said they no longer wanted their business. Benzino got belligerent with the cop, and he was saying, well, if we were a white couple named Tom and Bill, you wouldn't be doing this. And because he said those words, that analogy, if we were a white couple, a lot of publications took that footage and it exploded. So people were questioning their sexuality. So Cavario was saying we were in there working on a book, and Benzino was saying, look, I fell on hard times. My man hit me off with some weed. I called Cavario up, see if he could help me bust it down. So they had different stories, whatever. So they cleared it up. So it was no issue. But how it turned into this big whole thing is, Ion from Clubhouse, right? You there, Shante? Hello?
Blame it on the internet.
Yeah, blame it on the internet, because Shante got a MacBook Pro. I don't know what's going on in New York today. Shante, girl, you there? You there, Shante?
I'm here.
Is your internet in today?
It is, but I think I got it fixed and under control.
Okay, if you have to, you can leave and come back in. You're not going to drop off the face of the earth. You can always leave the broadcast and come back in. I'll bring you back up.
She's good now. You can continue.
Cool.
She good.
Are you good? Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay. What was the last thing you heard me tell you, Shante?
That he fell on hard times, and
okay, he had said that he fell on hard times, so he had called Cavario up allegedly to help him bust down a pack. But Cavario had a different story. So when he used that analogy, y'all wouldn't be kicking us out if we was a white couple. Why would you use that analogy? So long story short, the other day, Ion from Clubhouse, you know who Ion is, right?
Yes.
Ion is part of the LGBTQIA plus community. He is the reporter on Clubhouse that does rooms for mainstream topics. So the story that I just told you about with Benzino and Cavario, a lot of the urban channels that were heterosexual men, they already covered that story, and they already questioned their sexuality, and it was a dead story. Ion decides to make a room about it and titles the room Benzino Caught with a Man. That triggered Whack 100 to come in, have words with Benzino, and then he went and got Benzino, and they both had words with Ion. Benzino was once again irate, angry, belligerent. I was there. I was a moderator in that room. I know exactly what happened. I was there. So it caused Whack 100's account to be clipped, right? So now it brings me back to this story. So Whack 100's account gets clipped. It spirals all these conversations in the hallway on Clubhouse, LGBTQ against heterosexual. What happened with Ion? Benzino had a lot of derogatory gay slurs to tell Ion. And Ion is like, listen, people been talking about this story with Benzino. I never said you were gay. I'm just reporting on what everybody else is reporting. Why is it a problem when I do it? So it caused this big thing. So long story short, WAC 100 is back on Clubhouse yesterday. And we're all in the room again. I'm a moderator in this room again when it was set off again. So Ion comes in and Ion said, okay, I got a recording. I got a recording of Benzino allegedly having a conversation with a trans woman. He played both recordings, and I'm sure y'all can find this on Clubhouse. He played both recordings, okay, of Benzino seemingly having a conversation intimately with a trans woman. I'm not going to play the audio on here, but you guys could find it on Clubhouse. It just put Ion, WAC 100, Benzino, trans woman. I'm not going to say who the trans woman was. And it sounded very funny. He was saying stuff like, this is new to me. You're a nice girl. It was a lot of things that was kind of questionable. So last night, WAC 100 goes and gets Benzino again and comes in the room. Benzino was conducting himself calmly until I said, the conversation did sound kind of intimate. How the fuck did it sound intimate? He starts yelling. They come in with the recording played again. Everybody was cringing. He supposedly said that this was for a movie. He was in a movie with this person. It was just this whole thing. He was stuttering a lot. It was a lot happening. All of a sudden, he came in with energy for the LGBTQ people, like he was on their side, and he was trying to give this girl a chance by being her friend, this trans girl, and he's all about the support of them. And it was a lot of stuttering, but it was very, very weird. He starts yelling and screaming again, telling people to run up on him. He got something for them, this, that, and the third, and his anger was ablaze. So basically where Ion unleashed the recording, it shook Clubhouse up again last night. So now, after hearing everything that's been going on with Benzino, and he's also, by the way, publicly, going back and forth with his daughter, Coyle Ray, who is a new artist and just, dropped her album. Benzino was in the news because he broke the news of her Nicki Minaj collab before it came out, and she almost lost the collab with Nicki Minaj. So they're going back and forth. All of this is happening with Benzino. So now that you're caught up on everything, what do you think, Shante?
That's a lot of shit going on. If I must say so. It's a lot of suspecting things.
He needs Jesus.
I can see why, people might be about him. Like, I don't know why a grown man is in a hotel room with another grown man. I mean, you don't got enough money to get your own room. I can understand y'all both staying in the same hotel.
And somebody in the shower.
Ladies. Let's not assume.
Yeah. Look like a duck, quack like a duck, walk like a duck.
Not a mongoose, huh?
Oh my goodness.
Pray for that brother. Pray for that.
That's
brother.
it, yeah. Now I understand why you said what you said, Kevin. And Angie and stuff. Look, Angie had to take a sip of her Red Bull, so it's too much going on.
That damn social media.
That was a lot last night. I should have pinged y'all in the room.
Yeah, you should.
That conversation, when we get off here, you know what? If I was I should probably play this. I should probably play the audio.
No, don't play it. Don't play it.
Listen, the audio's public. Ion didn't break the story.
I just don't.
Listen, what Kev is doing, all the men.
I want it. Well, you know what?
Yo, Shante,
play it right now.
What Kev is doing, Shante, what Kev is doing is secretly like trying to just out of being a man trying to protect Benzino. The men in there were trying their hardest to grasp at straws to protect him. But my back channel was going crazy. I had trans women hitting my back channel like, He's lying, girl. I can't take this. I had straight women like
Read my hat.
be the change. Y'all could go on Twitter. No, everybody that's watching, if y'all want to know what happened at Club last night, Ion did not break the story with that audio. That audio was all over Twitter with Benzino and the trans woman. And you could and then whatever conversation that we had last night in the Death of a Cloud Chaser room, shout out to Big Chuck. Y'all could find that on YouTube because they got those rooms in there. So, but I'll definitely play the audio for y'all later, but y'all could go check out that audio. That first conversation was very uncomfortable, and he said, this is new to me and you not gonna look like nothing. You a nice girl. It's me. I'm the one that's gonna be getting what did he say, clowned and all this. It would sound very weird. He said he never met the girl in his life. It was a movie. I don't know what's happening, but he was stuttering a lot. I don't know. Again, Benzino, you're a legend. You gave us the source. If you ever see this, I'm just being honest. I told you that in the room, that it sounded kind of intimate, that first conversation. The second audio they played, when he said something about work, that's when Whack 100 took it and was like, see, he said work. He said work. So Whack was like, it's for work. So look, the second conversation didn't sound as sus as the first, but regardless of what your sexuality is, Benzino, you gave us the source. I think you half Italian. I'm Italian, so you know what I mean?
The late Johnny Cochran couldn't get him off of this one.
I cannot. But Angie, please, if you happen to accidentally just slide in my DMs and slip me them links,
I got you.
I mean, y'all can play. This is Angie's world. You can play what you want. You can play what you want.
Look, I don't want Benzino coming after me, choking me out.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Look, but regardless, whatever Benzino is into, you gave us the source, Benzino. So you a legend and in your own right. You gave us the source. You
right with us.
You word. You gave us.
He was making his own movie, but it wasn't no production.
Look, Benzino, you gave us Coi Leray. She is a beautiful artist. So you know what?
Very talented too.
Yeah, both paisanos. So don't do that.
Yeah, and I think he half Italian, but then I read somewhere online he's Vietnamese. I never heard of that. I heard he was black and Italian. I don't know about no Vietnamese.
Was the tranny Vietnamese?
Transgender is the right term.
Transgender. Give me trouble. The transgender person.
He didn't know, y'all. He didn't know the right terminology. Transgender.
That's why I don't want to go here.
Let's just leave it alone.
I can't. Let's move on, y'all.
They will shut you down. They will shut you down.
We're not monetized yet, but when we become monetized, I'll be editing these videos before they come out.
Cut it. Cut it.
We'll be cutting right here.
Cut it.
All right, y'all.
Cut it. You need to cut it.
Listen, guys, I promise we haven't had anything to drink today. We're just trying to decompress before we talk about depressing stuff. I'm drinking my Red Bull. All right, guys, in happier news, Britney Spears is pregnant. Did you guys hear about that?
Damn, she didn't wait. She didn't wait one iota, huh? Once they took that diaphragm out of her.
Didn't they have her? Her father had her on. They did a documentary where she was kind of like kept in a bubble and couldn't do anything. Who the baby daddy?
Well, she's actually engaged to her fiance. And to answer your question, Shante, she was in a conservatorship, which ended, and she was able to take her IUD out because during the conservatorship, she wasn't even in charge of her own uterus. She had to have an IUD. But once the conservatorship ended, she was able to take the IUD out. She's engaged, and now she's expecting her first baby. I see you wanted to say something. Go ahead, Kev.
No, I'm just saying, like, good for her, like, as soon as that diaphragm came out, my man was like, I'm going for the hits. But it is what it is,
Correct.
Not the diaphragm.
I don't believe it's her first baby though.
It's her I was about to say that. It's her first with him.
It's her third.
It's her third altogether, and it's her first with her now fiance. She has 2 previous babies with Kevin Federline. So those kids, I believe, are teenagers. She had them in she had them in the early 2000s. So congratulations to Britney Spears and her soon to be her unborn baby.
For you.
I don't think that song would go well in 2022 for some reason. Let me try to help Shante out. Shante, come back to the stream, girl. Let me try to add her. When
She's
she
trying to
get back
find
in,
Benzino video.
I'm dead. I don't know what's going on with Shante. Let me see. Let me try to add her back to the stream. Listen, I promise y'all, Shante got a she got a good computer. Shante, come back in, girl. Remove yourself and come back in. Here, let me see it. Well, I don't want to kick her from the studio because I don't want to ban her. All right, I don't know how that works. Anyway, leave and come back, girl. All right. We could just talk a little bit until Shante gets back, and then we're gonna cover the main topic for tonight. Let me text Shante and tell her to come back in.
See, A-list after dark. This is how we do. We're recording this in its entirety, people. So you're going to get this here or there. Listen. We're all in a remote environment.
Absolutely.
So,
listen, when I get fancy, go ahead. What's that?
No, and hopefully, like I said, these COVID numbers don't continue to go up, so we can not live in a remote environment. But go ahead, Angela.
Absolutely. Y'all, you know what? When I come visit Kev for his radio show, y'all will see us outside of a remote. I'll do like a little vlog. I'll be like, I'm here with Kev, and I'll post it up on the I'll do like a little clip of behind the scenes of your show so they could go follow you and stuff. And I'll do like a little mini vlog.
Yeah, big shout out to the City Island Gallery, home of 950 Lounge. If you're an artist, if you're someone who writes books and wants to do book signings, if you need a place with for a small but intimate event, reach out to me, 950 Kev on IG. We'll take care of it, hook you up. Got a piano in the place also, so really elegant, right in the heart of City Island. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
How's the shows and everything going?
Well, we've done 2 weeks in. We're 2 weeks in, which we're programming. Just coming back for live records in April, and things are going well. Obviously, anytime, I know with me anyway, I'm kind of a perfectionist. Anytime we're in a new spot and we're getting used to angles and cameras and making sure the sound. We've added new cameras to our set, which we're really excited about. Multiple camera views. So. It was just obviously getting comfortable. Now I think after a few weeks, we're in our comfort zone, and full steam ahead. And obviously, you can catch our videos coming really soon. And A-List After Dark is coming along with us to our TV partner, which will be announced. It's already out, but we're just not announcing it yet. But it'll be this spring. So Apple, Amazon, Roku. So you can catch A-List After Dark and all of Angie's projects.
Angie's World Podcast, A-List After Dark.
All your projects, you'll be able to catch those also on Apple and Amazon, Roku. So I'm excited for you because I see the work you're putting in. And like I said, again, when it's a passion, it's not even work.
Thank you so much, Kev. I appreciate y'all, and I'm so proud of what y'all doing. And like I said, I'm always gonna say this. I've always wanted to do a podcast, and I've always wanted to get out there. And part of me getting bit by this bug that I'm so glad, it gave me the motivation, the confidence. I went on Kev's podcast, and then I was on. I'm sorry, radio show. I went on Kev's radio show, which I enjoyed that so much. And then I was, part of the What's the Numbers TV Women Wednesday. My people's over there at What's the Numbers TV. And I said, you know what? I love this too much. I'm going to do it. And then all of my creative friends over at the What New York Sounds Like group and all of my Clubhouse friends, motivated me and inspired me to do it. And I just love it because you get to connect with so many people that are as creative as you. So when you have a group of friends where everybody's content creators and that's why you see in LA, you see these YouTubers or these bloggers hang out together, or these vloggers hang out together. When you hang out with other creative people and people who are doing the same things as you guys all kind of just, oh, there goes Shante. I'm going to bring you up, mama. You guys all kind of just feed off of each other. So we love that. And we here now. Hey, girl.
Hey.
Shante is back in the building.
Oh my gosh. What's up? What are we talking about?
You all set?
So what's the next topic, Ange?
Yes. All right. Make sure y'all follow Shante. Before we get into the next topic, right? Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel. All right, and share the video, and please like the video. Please go follow Shante at Pink Sapphire. Go follow Kev at 950 Kev. I'm all things Angie's World. You know what I'm saying? You could check out my podcast, and everything is in the description. I'm on Apple, Spotify, everywhere else. Kev's information is going to be in the description. Shante is going to be in the description. And if you guys are enjoying this content and you want to support the channel, it's free. Just like the video, just give it a thumbs up or share it. And that's all we ask. All right, guys.
For now,
until I start dropping my Cash App up in this mother. Not even stop. All right, guys. I been procrastinating on this, but we got to get to this topic. All right, guys. Before we get into this, I'm just going to give you guys a brief synopsis on the situation at hand. All right. So there was a mass shooting in New York. I want to report this. I'm going to just give a brief excerpt from the New York Times. All right. So this is from 22 minutes ago. All right. So it's a Brooklyn subway shooting, and this happened right here in New York early this morning during the morning commute. All right. Police search for gunman in attack in Brooklyn subway. A man put on a gas mask, opened a canister that filled a subway car with smoke and opened fire. At least 16 people were hurt and 10 by gunfire. The police recovered a rented U-Haul van that they believed had been driven by the gunman. Here's the latest. All right. So a man. Okay. All right. He was on his. Okay. So, all right. They found a U-Haul 5 miles away where a man opened fire in a subway train in Brooklyn and shot 10 people during the morning rush. The police recovered a rented U-Haul van late Tuesday afternoon after they believed that had been driven by the gunman, a senior law enforcement official said. The van was empty. The shooter remains at large. So New York City is being vigilant, and they have their eyes open as, this is my words now, as they look for this person. More than 8 hours ago, after he put on a gas mask on a crowded N train, he released the canisters of smoke and began open fire. Okay. 16 people were injured, 10 of them by gunfire on the train platform on the busy 36th Street station in the Sunset Park neighborhood. 5 victims are in critical condition. The shooting happened before 8:30 a.m. It set off panic and chaos around the train. This comes as the city, we're already struggling to cope with both a rise in shootings citywide and an increase in crime and disorder in the subway. The mayor has COVID now, and he says, that the gunman, and they couldn't find security footage of the gunman because the camera at the 36th subway station that may have captured the scene was not operating. There was a malfunction with the camera system at that particular station. Surprise, surprise, MTA. Witnesses to the shooting described what happened, and it was just pandemonium. As you guys can see here, this is people, laid out. There's blood, there's smoke, people are injured. It was just, people were on their way to work. School kids were on the train. It was just a really, really horrible and sad situation. I'm going to go ahead and start with Kev. So I'm going to go ahead and mute with Shante. We're going to start with Kev. I'm going to get, your take on it. We'll go to Shante, and then we'll just talk one at a time. Go ahead, Kev.
Well, first and foremost, like I said from the beginning of the show, prayers and thoughts with people. I know when I first heard, I had just got off the track. I do my morning workout, and my manager at work have reached out to me and just said, hey, I hope everybody's okay with the shooting. Like, what? So that made me start to dive deeper, put on the radio, and obviously it was all over the airwaves, all over my phone, all of the tags. I have a sister that works in Brooklyn, so my first thought was my sister. Didn't know what line it was, just didn't know exactly at that point where in Brooklyn, but my first thought was my sister. And again, I think it's a situation, and I had this conversation with a couple of my colleagues from 950 earlier. It's a situation in my world and my thought that when you have a city, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, I don't care what you are, but in any business or any event, when there's one group that runs a situation, it's normally not good, right? It's got to be a balance in everything, relationships, political, how you handle structure. Anything has to have a balance. And it seems like here in New York, people don't have any. There's no deterrent for people doing crazy stuff, right? Like, we don't know who this guy is. I know they said there's a 5'5", um, African American, kind of chunky. But again, like I said, obviously it wasn't anybody that was military. Guy had on a orange vest, and he threw a smoke bomb and started shooting. A very cowardly act. But again, it goes to show what what's happened in New York, and we're all New Yorkers. From the somebody smearing feces in somebody's face to last week a young girl got killed at school, and we heard about the situation with the employee at Burger King a couple months ago. We're in a situation at a time in New York where it's reminding me of the 70s. It's reminding me of the gritty 80s when crack first started. And I don't know if that's because of COVID. I don't know if that's just because of the new laws where, you get arrested and you're back out in the street in 10 minutes. Don't matter what you did, as long as you didn't shoot somebody. I don't know where that's happened. We used to be a city where we were very tough on crime. And obviously, being an African American male and somebody who's had harassment with the police, I understand when people feel like, you know what, um, all cops are not on our side, and we need to defund the police. But when you start seeing these things happen, and they're happening within our neighborhoods, they're happening within our communities. This didn't happen in Times Square. This didn't happen in 34th Street. This didn't happen by the World Trade Center. This happened in a Brooklyn neighborhood, 1 block over from Sunset High School. So again, we got to realize that we need to make some changes. And if either A, we're going to start policing our own communities, or B, we're going to have to sit down with authorities and come and have a consensus, because this has got to stop. When you start getting innocent people dying, these are not people who are involved in street activities. This is not people who are involved in, the hustle and trade of the underground. This is normal people, school teachers and kids and people going to work. It's got to stop. And I'm I don't know if it's mental illness or what have you, but there's got to be some type of solution between city, state, and individuals and community activists, where we got to come together and not, well, we're going to do it ourselves. It don't work that way. You can't do it yourself. We need authority. We need to come together, and we need to kind of come with a solution, because quite frankly, I'm getting sick of it.
I like that. Thank you, Kev. So go ahead, Shante.
Where do I begin? So it's upsetting. First of all, I want to say condolences to all family, friends, commuters that was affected by that incident. It's terrible, but it is becoming a long list of a lot of crazy incidents going on in this city. And I think I piggyback off of what Kevin was saying. The city had always had its problem. This is a major hustle bustle city. So it's always had its, when you have a city such as New York City, you're always going to have certain issues with crime. But I said the same thing, Kevin. I'm feeling like this is like the 80s, 90s, I in the 70s, baby, but it's just feeling like we slipping backwards instead of really progressing forward. I also think that, we vote and say the mayor or the cops is not doing enough. I think that it needs to go back to community engagement. Like, I remember growing up in East New York, we used to have neighborhood watch. If you see something,
Tenant patrol. My grandma used to do that.
That's right. My mom did too. I think it's also a spike in mental illness. I think you have to look at just all the things we as New Yorkers been through. I mean, we've been through so much. 9/11, Sandy, the anthrax scare. Everything is like boom, 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 hitting us. And then the pandemic. We were on lockdown. And if you didn't have any family and friends, because I know a lot of working professionals who I saw them, pretty strong people. They didn't go to the extremes of this man wanting to hurt somebody, but I seen them break down, cry, or just show an emotional breakdown that I've never in 10 plus years of knowing these people seen before, right? And that I think that we were in isolation. We were isolated. Not to mention, we're trying to push the city forward. There's this whole thing to like, open up New York City, get it back going and get it back to normal. But people are grieving. We lost so many people during the pandemic. They were dropping. I mean, if you just close your eyes and go back to April, there were trucks. I would go past my neighborhood hospital and I saw the trucks. And I ain't talking about the trucks carrying cargo. I'm talking about ice trucks to pack bodies in. Like, people were alone. They were isolated. And somewhere along the line, we've lost touch. One thing that's always been cool, even though you had the Manhattan district and the financial district of Manhattan, when you get to Brooklyn, Queens, Harlem, Uptown, we've always had neighborhoods, where your neighbor would knock on your door, hey, you okay? I haven't seen you. I mean, we've gotten into a very kind of, and I don't know if the pandemic contributed more to that level of isolation, where people are just very like distant from people. People don't want to interact. People don't want to talk. People barely hold the door. It's like, how do you live in a building where you see people every day and they don't even interact or say hello to each other? I think there's a definite mental component that needs to be explored. I think that it's going to be crime, community, and then also mental health professionals.
Right.
Because it has skyrocketed people reaching out and saying, I need to speak to a therapist. Something's wrong. I don't feel right. And even though people are going back to work and going back to the office, people are really not okay.
Right.
And also, I think that there's a cry for humanity right now. I think somewhere along the line, I don't know, I know there used to be prayer in the schools at one time. I think all New Yorkers, whatever religion you prescribe to, I think we need to have a day in the city of just like prayer.
Right.
Prayer.
I agree.
Because there's a cry. And the thing is, right, you can look at the guy and say he is a disgusting, vile, and what he did was horrible. It was horrendous. It was evil, right? But then I always go back to, well, what got this person here? Was this person often teased, bullied? What was going on that got them up to a point of desperation where they felt they had to take it out on complete strangers that have nothing to do with what's really going on inside of them? And the unfortunate thing is, I hate to sound pessimistic, but if we don't start getting in touch as a community and bring it back towards humanity, we have to stop looking at like, oh, well, that kid over there, that ain't my kid. My kids are fine, or my household is fine. No, the wise spoken words of Martin Luther King said, "An injustice to one is injustice of all." And I'm going to take that a step further and say, if you're hurt, Angie, I'm hurting too.
Right.
When we start to separate it and look away, like as if that's their problem, not mine. And that's what we do. We tend to do that as a site. It's very easy to just compartmentalize as that's over there. But it's not until it comes into your own backyard. I mean, I live in near Canarsie, and there was a kid innocently just the other week shot. He was, I think, in the car. He was eating some food with his cousin. They have nothing to do with the streets, and just a stray bullet hit him and he's killed.
Right.
Y'all know about that. Eric Adams. I mean, how many conferences since he's assumed office have you heard Eric Adams talk about some innocent person killed, struck, or whatever? There is something seriously going on with humanity. And if we don't start to come together collectively and say, this is our problem and we got to do something.
Yeah.
It's going to continue happening. There are many more deranged people, like such as this guy that was wearing that gas mask, is out here hurting. Even that homeless person that you pass, they are a time bomb waiting to spill over and erupt like a volcano. And I also say, the next time you come across somebody that's alone, or even if they talking about something you don't really want to hear, just offer them an acknowledgement. Because they're still a human being. You would be really taken back as to what acknowledging someone, showing and there's some level of kindness, and that acknowledgement can make someone feel. I'm not saying it's going to save everybody, but we got to take a real look at this. Just a few weeks ago, there was a mass shooting in, I believe, California.
Before we get into that, I just want to say, because we'll talk about the other states and what's going on with them, but I just want to say this. I was born and raised in New York City, right? And I wasn't around for the 70s, but I heard my parents tell me the story about, the crack era and the chain snatching and how bad New York City was. And, being born and raised in New York City, we're raised with street smarts. We're raised with, I can remember, I was born in the early 80s. So by the late 80s is my first kind of memories of my parents taking me on a train and me seeing the homeless people and them starting to drill the street smarts into my head. I was a kid, right? From the late 80s till now, this is the worst that I've ever seen New York City. It's to the point now, and I've been seeing it happen. The subways are getting worse and worse. I've seen, especially since the pandemic and emerging out of the pandemic, I think that there's a lot of problems here. I think that they're not paying the NYPD enough. So the NYPD has their own families and they have a family to go home to. So they're not down there in the subways risking their life. The subways, yeah, there is some sort of police activity down there, but it's pretty much every man for themselves down there. You're in the purge. And when you're on, it's pretty much the purge down there. It's may God bless you and be on point. Because when you are inside those train carts and those doors are closed, you can't get out. And you're in there with crazy deranged people. And then on top of that, with the pandemic, on top of that, we have cash that people are not really using cash like that. So you have a lot of these panhandlers, these drug addicts, these people with mental health issues. They want cash, they want money, and people don't have it. So they're desperate. And then you have all the homeless people living underground. Then on top of that, mental health services, I have never seen a system fail people the way they are failing them. I know people personally who have reached out with health insurance, working people that have reached out with health insurance to try to get therapy, and they can't get therapy because there's a waiting list in New York City. They can't get teletherapy. They can't get in-person therapy. And these are people that's reaching out saying, I have anxiety. I have depression. I need to talk to someone. I'm sorry. You have to call back. This is a waiting list. So the mental health is not available. All right. Then on top of that, we're strapped for cash. I read an article on CNN that people by the boatloads are continuing to move out of New York City because of the crime rate. You understand what I'm saying? My aunt the other day last week, we were at a hotel. We went to celebrate, my early birthday, and we were at a hotel, and my aunt is like, I have to go to a dinner party 6 blocks away. Instead of me walking the 6 blocks with everything going on, my aunt took an Uber 6 blocks. She didn't even feel comfortable on a nice Saturday night to walk by herself at 70 years old, 6 blocks. You understand what I'm saying? So we're to the point now that crime is rising. People are moving out. You're not safe underground. Cops are underpaid. Every man for themselves, like you said, Shante. Everybody is just trying to survive, and they're worried about their own house. And if they're not fighting over toilet paper at the store, they're, just worried about surviving. Then you have the whole portion of people who need mental health services that can't get it. And then on top of that, we live in a godless society and a godless country. And you brought up God, they're removing God out of the schools. You could take when we had COVID happen to us, right? And you saw who our leader was. That was another issue of mine. We're lacking leaders. You saw what was going on with our leader, right? Look at the other countries. When Italy got caught by COVID, I watched what they did. They all released rosary balloons in the air, and they came together and they said, Our Father and Hail Mary, and they prayed when COVID hit their country. Because God is at the center. Here, everybody fought over toilet paper. Everybody looted. There's division in race. There's division in sexuality here. Everybody's fighting. It's black versus white. It's straight versus gay. They're dividing. They're fighting. There's lack of leadership. Crime is raising, and people don't care because at the end of the day, these politicians is worrying about who Cuomo is sleeping with, who's sleeping with who. I want to take a picture with this celebrity, and they're going back home in their cushy little house in all the way upstate New York in their $1 million mansions, and they're now riding the subway every single day. So why would they send help in the subways if they don't have to be on the subways, if they're taking limos, if they're not living that life? I tell people all the time, when you come to New York City, it's two different lives. You think you're gonna have that Sarah Jessica Parker Sex in the City life? If you don't got money for that life, you could turn on Sex in the City all day. That's not the life you're gonna have. The same way there's two lives in LA. You're gonna have that Skid Row, there's that Skid Row real shit, and there's that Hollywood shit. It's the same thing out here in New York. These are the people that's getting up every day 5 o'clock in the morning and putting their life at risk every time they go downstairs in that train station, putting their life at risk. There's no supervision down there. Look, what pissed me off even more is the mayor said, oh, there was a security camera being malfunction on the security camera. They're doing nothing but dicking around downstairs in that MTA. They're not checking these cameras. The fares are going up. You understand what I'm saying? They're not checking the cameras. How much money we're going to give to the MTA? You know what I'm saying? They're probably going to go on strike because now they got to leave their families every morning and go drive the bus down there. Okay. I mean, I'm sorry. You got to go drive the train underground and put their life at risk with these crazy people. So
and
if it's
numbers are extremely low. I mean,
right.
It hasn't come back.
Right. So if you're not worrying about getting pushed into the tracks in the subway, now we got people walking in the subway, no metal detectors, nothing, going right onto the platform, spraying up the whole. I mean, something has to be done. I don't care what you guys need to do. Leaders need to come in. I don't care if you get the Army, the Navy, whoever. Hashtag pray for New York City. The same way these other cities get taglines that go viral to pray for them. New York is strong, but pray for us. We need help right now, and we need a lot of it, especially in this subway and in this city. And instead of these politicians worrying about taking pictures with celebs and rappers and all this stuff, we need to fix New York City. And I'm sorry I'm getting so passionate, but I saw this coming a mile away. I was on the train last week on Tuesday, and then I'm gonna open the floor for us to talk. But I was on the train last week, and I said something in I think you was in the chat. In our chat, Shante, I was like, yeah, I'm on my way. And Allison was like, be safe. And I was like, yeah, there's a guy right here, like literally feet from me, screaming and hollering about this girl. He's an African-American guy. He was calling the African-American female a black bitch because she sat next to him and she was taking up too much room. It was something very asinine. And he just kept going on and on and on about what a bitch she was. I mean, there's not one time that you are not sitting on the subway and getting harassed by a homeless person for money. And then if you say no, they wildin'. Or some dirty kid that's flipping in the middle of the subway, damn near kicking you in the eye because they want change. Or somebody flipping. I mean, it's bad down there. You know, a close friend of mine recently got followed. You know what I'm saying? And she had to wind up reporting that situation. She was scared for her life. She's a very pretty girl, and she got followed on the platform, broad day. Like, it's a lot of that. So once again, we need some more patrolling down in those subways and in this city. But I'm going to open to the floor, for us to have a dialogue now. Kev, I think you wanted to say something.
Well, Angie, like I said, I feel your passion and I feel your pain because I think the one thing about this as we're doing this show tonight, we all experience it. I have loved ones. I don't take the train anymore. I just decide, you know what, I'm not doing it. And if I got to go into the city, which I do at least once a week, I'll take the express bus and I'll walk.
Yeah.
I just, again, and it's not about fear for me. It's more about, I don't want to have to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
I just don't, I want to get home at this stage in my life. I'm very content and confident in my own, and I just don't want to deal with it. I tell people all the time, unfortunately in this world, the only thing that people of commerce respect is commerce. So like, you know what, at the end of the day, if people, and again, you're going to see that now. I mean, obviously, the police it's been an extra presence because there's been extra things because they want people to start coming back to work in the city, and people are not going to come back to work. Number one,
they said that in the New York Times article. They said people don't want to come back on the trains now.
Right. They didn't want to come back on the trains before because,
Yeah,
again, we're still living in COVID. COVID is starting to tick. Now you add the heightened issue with this. You just drinking a cup of coffee, reading a newspaper, and
that's what
somebody
they
comes
said in the
spraying you.
article.
Right. It's real talk. So people are not going to come back to work. It's only going to add more anxiety, more mental health, more heightened, fears of traveling. So the only way the city is going to get this thing back is they're going to have to really just again invest in all this technology that's out here. They're going to have to invest in more manpower. They might have to eventually bring back transit police because now, right now, if you realize growing up, there was a transit police and there was a
Yeah,
NYPD. They're now under one umbrella. Well, that doesn't really work
right,
because, unfortunately, under that same jurisdiction, they're going to need to have a focus group that that deals with the subway. And also, again, while yeah, he might have his issues as a clown, Curtis Lee had years ago the Guardian Angels. They're gonna have to be groups like that. I applaud. I know there's a lot of people out here that are involved with fighting for justice. Especially for people of color. It's going to take some type of funding for individual groups that really want to get involved with some training involved to bring that to light. And also the NYPD and the city is going to have to hire more mental health professionals that go in with the cops that are right there to diffuse situations. Because just obviously just putting a gun or handcuffs to somebody does not solve anything when
yep,
you have a situation now where you can be with no bail reform. So yeah, you go ahead and arrest the person who was smashing feces in somebody's face and they're in the street the next day. So what's that's just like going through a turnstile. What does that solve? So
right,
we have to start becoming more solution based. And for so many years, we just been reactive based. We react when something happens. Oh, unfortunately, somebody shoots up a train. We react. We need to be proactive where these things don't happen. People are known in our world when they feel good about themselves, when they're empowered, when they feel they can, take care of themselves and their family, they feel good about each other. We're putting in more prisons just to put the band-aid on. They're talking about now, putting, closing Rikers and adding mini Riker Islands all around the city. What sense does that make? So we're already now planning for more demise. So we as a city and as a world, we plan for the glass to be half empty. We never look at the glass half full. And again, I'm a positive thinking person, spiritual like you ladies are, but from a standpoint, we got to just become a city and a country where we are proactive. We know
right.
these things out there. If you got people who are hungry and starving, if you got people who are homeless, if you got people who are going through the mill, what do you think is going to happen? Something's going to pop. And I'm not saying everybody out here is on that situation because that's certainly not the case. But there's a lot of people out here just, they're going to mentally pop because things ain't balancing themselves. And our
Mm-mm.
capitalist society that we've all grown up and we know in America to be, it's about I get mine, you get yours. That mentality has got to stop. To me, that mentality had to stop. It should have stopped March 2020 because now we're all in the same boat. I just was in LA and you mentioned about LA and all the homelessness. I was staying in Santa Monica in a very nice area and there's tons of homelessness where the hotel was telling me, when you come back, make sure you keep a lookout where you're at. Use your key to get into the hotel because everything will be locked at a certain time. Matter of fact, they lock the doors about 5 o'clock in the evening. It's still sunny out. So it's not just a New York issue. It's not just a United States issue. It's a global issue. And I think obviously we're still trying to be in this mindset where, different groups and different nationalities feel like, hey, that doesn't affect me. And it does, because even if you don't take the subway, that same nutcase can be knocking on the window at Mr. Child's in New York City. That same person that's got issues can be right there at the Broadway show. So you can't avoid it. And we have to stop looking at that's not my problem anymore. It's all of our problems because we all live in the city. It's bigger than just New York, LA, Chicago, Florida. It's bigger than that. We got governments and state institutions worried about people being gay. Are we? Is that, if we really focusing on that? Is that really so important? Our agendas are all screwed up, and as my
It's
mother always
disgusting.
tells me, we're living in the last days. And the more she says that now, the more I'm like, She's been saying that for years, but now I'm like, maybe this woman has a point, because it's a little, it's scary, and it's not about.
It's a free for all.
Yeah.
Where we're at right now in this world is a free for all, right? And I say this all the time, that most people are sheep and they're looking for something to follow, and they praise celebrities, right? Your hero is smacking the shit out of somebody on stage and unraveling. You're praising BBLs and fast cars and money, and that's what you're idolizing, and that's what you're praying. I mean, that's what you're praising. And you cannot put, and I say this all the time, and listen, if you're atheist and you're watching this, I respect you. If you believe in Buddha, if you believe in the universe, whatever it is that you want to call it, tap into that and pray, because at the end of the day, the NYPD is not gonna save you. The government is not gonna save you. You need to pray to Jesus. You need to pray to God to cover you with his blood, okay? And like I said before, the devil is always acting up because Easter's coming, but Jesus still rose on that third day. He still rose, okay? And there's a lot of stuff happening, but we just got to continue to pray. And look, even if you don't want to pray, I'm not going to apologize for being a Christian. I'm not a perfect Christian. I'm not whatever, but I do believe in God. I'm not afraid of Jesus. As y'all know, this is Angie's world, right? And people from all walks of life come in here. That's part of my motto. I want everybody from all walks of life in here to be comfortable and come together. So I'm not judging you. If you don't believe what I believe, that is your total right to believe what you want to believe. But I just feel like we're in a godless society. We need to come together. Like Shante said, we need to have a prayer vigil. We need some leaders to step up. We need Oprah. We need Martin Luther King. We need a Michael Jackson heal the world record. We don't need
Oprah.
Whatever, Kev. Anyway, we need some leaders to come and really speak. Kevin, don't be hating on Oprah Winfrey. I love Oprah.
Always gotta lighten up the mood with it.
Yeah, no doubt.
But
we don't need Oprah.
But this is
the great Tina Turner once said, "We don't need another hero."
Anyway, this country needs some actual leaders, because what Donald Trump did when he acted like a whatever he acted, and he set the precedent for everybody just showing their ass. We're living in a free for all now.
But that's where we're at. Trump just tore the Band-Aid off. I mean, the scab was already raw. It wasn't. He just tapped into something that was already there. It was already there. So it's just obviously we just live in a very selfish society, and we're the capitalistic mindset preaches that. It's not to be, we all want more, but at what expense? Is it for me to want more to step on YouTube so I can get mines? We just don't have that love. And I think you guys mentioned it. When you have love for your fellow man, yeah, you still want nice things, but I'm not willing to put a bullet. I'm not willing to destroy you to get it. Right. Again, like I said, that's our mindset. And again, when we talk about all these things, we talked about Clubhouse and different things. These things are just byproducts of what's really going on in real life. And people are upset, and people are disappointing themselves. People are miserable. They wake up miserable. They go to bed miserable. They're not happy with themselves. There's no joy. Again, from a religious perspective, there's not enough love. There's not enough caring. So this is what you get. And it's unfortunate. But again, I'm a glass half full person. I think you lay a seed, and, when things like this happen, it allows for a reset. Nobody wants bad things to happen, but it allows for a reset for all of us to start to think about what's really important and what's really real and what's we can do to get better. So I'm going to lean on that, because again, we hopefully have a long way to go, all of us, in our journeys of life, and it would be awfully miserable to think that we're hopeless.
Absolutely. And before we end the topic, I'm gonna ask you, Shante, and you, Kev, what would you say? What I just had the question in my head and then I forgot. Shante, did you have something to say while you were talking?
Yeah,
I'll remember. Go ahead.
I mean, I know you said the reset, Kevin, but I mean, I think the whole pandemic and sitting home and seeing the city just empty like that was the reset. I mean, then we had the explosion of the George Floyd, and there was a lot going on them last 2 years. I'm just saying, and I mean, if we as a nation, if we as a global human society world don't realize that this whole pandemic, this whole battle of COVID and everything, this whole, if we don't understand that this is like the reset of a new world order, I don't know when we gonna wake up and realize it. I mean, we here, we in it right now, we in the reset right now. So it's I believe that, Angie, your passion for this and our passion about this is because we see the urgency. Because how many times are we going to keep watching the news and hearing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again? And honestly, I think we all as New Yorkers should be very, very, very concerned, because and try on whatever level that we're able to get involved, whether that's voting, whether that's signing petitions, whether that's galvanizing community and getting them riled up, whether it's seeing if you could donate time to a cause that do that, whether that means bringing back the guardian angels and seeing about that. Something's got to be done, because I don't no longer look at the news like, oh, that happened to them, that's unfortunate. I look at it as,
Right.
thank God it didn't happen here, but the longer I stay here, it's just a matter of time before it's going to hit somebody I know.
And not only that, but if you think your answer is to go run to another state, let me tell you something. If you run to California, you got Skid Row out there. If you run to these other states and you think, okay, well, I'm going to have a better quality of life there, you got these other states where they're policing women's bodies. You can't, they're passing laws that are policing women's bodies. They're passing laws that there's not inclusive for LGBTQIA plus people. So whatever, this is, like I said, we are lacking leaders in this world. The leadership in this world is despicable. So no matter what state you go to, you either going to have politicians that are going to either police your body and not care about inclusiveness, or you're going to have the major cities like New York and LA where you're going to be scared to leave your house in fear of dying, and then you have like Texas and Florida. And I mean, like I said, it's just all around leadership, I think, needs to change. But I'm like, Kev, before we end this topic and get up out of here tonight, I'll go first. I'm gonna give some, I guess, encouraging words to people. I'll go first, and then y'all could tap into, encouraging words. I don't know, who's watching this. I would hope one day that it can get to such a large amount of people that millions of people will watch this, but you never know. Maybe somebody is watching this that's sitting in a hospital right now that was affected by the mass shooting in New York. They could just type hashtag mass shooting and maybe they were involved. But what I do want to say to you is that it's going to get better. I'm praying, God got you. What is this? What is this over here? Let me show you guys something that I keep with me here. Keep a lot of little stickies here. All right. For I will restore health to you and I will heal your wounds, says the Lord. I always keep like little things that Jesus says, that God says, and he says, for I will restore health to you and I will heal your wounds. So I'm praying for New York. I'm praying for you guys. Just remember that the Lord says, I will restore health to you and I will heal your wounds, whether it's mental, whether it's physical, whether you have loss, whether you don't have money and you don't know how your bills are going to be paid, whatever it is, just cast your cares on him. Believe and pray. And if you are a person that is an atheist, or you might not believe in Jesus and you believe in the universe and you believe in Buddha, tap into that spiritual realm, because in my opinion, that's the only thing that's going to save you. Not the NYPD, not the politicians, not man, because they're human. They make mistakes. They're at fault. A lot of people, they operate with greed and envy and selfishness, and the devil could work through them as well. So the spiritual realm is what you want to tap into, what you want to continue to pray. I'm praying for you guys. I'm praying for all of us that we continue to stay safe, that our families stay safe. If there is something that you can do for somebody else, each one teach one, each one help one. don't think, oh, I'm just in this little corner of the world and anything that I could do, is not going to help. If you're in a situation where you got a couple of dollars, look up some charities that you can donate to. Whatever it is that you can do to help, try to do that. And it will help the world in some type of way. And yeah, so that's I want to end with those positive words. Shante, how about you? You have anything encouraging to say to anybody?
I got two things I want to share. One is I just want to leave you with the let's be a little bit more kinder to each other. Let's next time, when someone talks our ear off, you never know what people are going through, what people are battling. Sometimes just offering a smile or a word of encouragement or just listening can be insurmountable. And I also want to say this also. This is deeper than just the mass shooting, but just in general with a lot of things going on in the world today. And I thought of this scripture and I wanted to share it. It's Proverbs 3, verse 28. And it says, do not say to your neighbor, come back tomorrow and I'll give it to you when you already have it with you. And that sticks out to me.
Right.
Because I remember in the other episode, Angie, you would say, like, when I have clothes or giftings and I don't need to use them, I just put them down in the bin.
Yep. Not the bin. I put them in my lobby in my apartment building.
Sorry, lobby. I mean, but so many times we'll say to somebody, oh, I'm praying for you. Or hope that works out for you. But it's like, if you have it,
right,
to give it.
Right. That's what
I have another box of rice or another thing. Here you go.
That's what I do. Everything. I put it in my lobby.
If you have it to give, or you can even maybe point someone in the right direction. Hey, I saw this, whatever. I don't know if that may be helpful to you, but just give it freely. You know what I mean? And just be more kind. I think more kindness, more compassion is very needed because we are hurting as a society. A lot of people feel isolated. Not everyone has friends or family that they really, there are people that when the holidays come up, they're really sitting there alone.
And you know what? That you say that, Shante, that really inspired me. One of the reasons of exactly what you said, that's also inspiring me. I started this new YouTube channel and it's called Eat with Angie's World. And I'm going to be doing some meal times there where I'm going to be telling story times and eating and stuff. But I also plan on pre-recording before holidays meals because people who are alone could watch that and feel like they're eating with somebody. So I like that you said that because there are people that are completely alone dealing with a lot of issues by themselves. So you know what I'm saying? If that was part of the reason I said, I'm going to start a food YouTube channel where I'm going to be cooking and eating. And I hope that, that it would help people for if they're, by themselves, they could have Thanksgiving or Christmas. I could pre-record it and put the stuff out and maybe people could feel like they have somebody, you know what I'm saying? But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No worries. I just want to say one more thing. And just besides the kindness, just be the change that you want to see.
Definitely.
It don't have to be something so big, right? But whatever that's in your power, we all have different gifts, talents, and abilities. So whatever is within your reach, just do it. Like the Nike sign, just do it and be the change. Be proactive about the change that you want to see.
Absolutely. Because we work through God, Jesus has us down here. And we're definitely working through, it's so funny because Joyce Meyer, I love her so much. I was listening to her one day and she says something similar to what you said. She said, you see people saying, oh, let's pray for so-and-so that her rent gets paid this month. Joyce Meyer was like, well, instead of praying for her, if you got the extra money, why don't you pay her rent? You're praying for her rent to be paid, but you got it. So bless somebody. That's how God works through it. That's how God blesses other people through us. We're his hands and feet. So that's just one kind of like example she used. Like, oh, I hope, Veronica she gets her rent paid this month. Let's all the church ladies come together or, Christians or whoever and pray that her rent is being paid this month. How about we all put our money together and pay the girl's rent? little things like that. But I think you're right on that. Shante, anything else before we move to Kev?
I just want to go after Kevin. I'll let Kevin go because I just want to leave everyone with a prayer, and then.
Yeah, go ahead, Kev. Any last thoughts, any uplifting, encouraging words that you want to say before we get up out of here?
Well, you ladies have poetically said it all, so I don't want to quell that, but all I can say is that do unto others that you want to do unto you. It's simple. I think again, sometimes, and I've said this in many situations before. I think sometimes when we really sit back, life can be a very simple place if we just choose to do the most simplistic things that mean. Sometimes we're not all grown up in we all grow up in different environments, have different backgrounds, what have you, but we all know how we want to be treated. It's just a serve and volley. That's all. I'm working with a group with 950 called Be the Change. And that's why I'm wearing this hat. And
I love that.
And again, it's simple as that. Just be the change. Be who you are, the person you want to be, and the kindness. Doesn't matter how you are, what you believe in, or what your goals. It's just courtesy goes a long way. It's free. It's free to say good morning. It's free to be nice. You don't have to love anybody long term. Just be courteous. And I'll leave it there.
That's what's up. Shante, you wanted to say a prayer with us?
Yeah. It's not even that like long. It's very simple. It's just something that we can all say like as we start our day, and just also for everyone, New York, the entire world. Lord God, I pray for your protection as I begin this day. You are my hiding place, and under your wings, I can always find refuge. Protect me from trouble wherever I go, and keep evil far from me. No matter where I am, I will look at you and trust you as my protector, the one who fights for me every day. Your love and faithfulness, along with your goodness and mercy, surrounds me daily, so I will not fear whatever might come against me. My trust is in you, God, and I give thanks to you for your love and your head of protection. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you so much. We definitely needed that. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God. Wow, that was very refreshing. Shante, thank you so much for guesting with us today and joining us. I hope did you have a good time on A-List After Dark?
I had a good time when I come here. I mean, my service was nervous. I was in and out dropping. I'm sorry about that, but
that's all good. You're a friend of the show, Shante. You're welcome to come whenever you want. Kev, thank you so much for another episode, dedicating your time to come here to kick it with me. I want to shout out to all of the viewers on Facebook, all of the viewers on Twitter, everybody that taps in via Instagram, everybody that taps in my YouTube page, all the feedback that I get, that people are enjoying the show, that they're enjoying the podcast. I'm so very thankful that you guys even want to tap into what I'm doing, and I hope that these conversations can make your day brighter. I know that the content that we spoke about today was a little bit heavy. We had like a heavy show today, but this is something that we definitely just wanted to get on camera and talk to you guys about, because this is affecting us here in New York now. And it's also, a global, all the cities are talking about this right now. This is a major, major story. And I wanted to get online and tap in with the people and anybody that, just needs to hear something a little positive now. And hopefully we left you with the positive message. Everybody, Kev's information, Shantae's information, my information is going to be in the description. If you enjoyed this show, please follow the YouTube channel and tap into what we're doing. This is A-List After Dark. My name is Angie. That's Shante. That's Kev. You could be anywhere in the world, but you decided to be in Angie's world. And for that, I love you. We out of here, y'all. I'll see y'all soon. One. Deuces.